I wanted to also bring up your podcast, the Wong Notes.
That's right.
Yeah, and so far you've had Satriani and Scofield on, at least released, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that. Who else is expected? And then there's a particular guitarist I'd love to hear a little bit about, if possible.
Yeah. Well, Satch and Sco are out as of today, as of this recording. Next week is Molly Tuttle. She's an insane bluegrass player, flat picker. Huge fan of her. She's insane. She does this stuff. Flat picking on the guitar is interesting because it's so fast and you hear so much happening. But when you watch it, like if you were just watching a video and the sound wasn't on,
it looks like a slow strum.
You might not think that as much action is happening because there's so much pull-offs. So there's maybe a third more notes that are happening than what it looks like. So it's kind of a deceptive, cool thing. And she's a master of that. I mentioned I talked to Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Kevin is one of the guests, along with his brother Michael. I talked to the original king of smooth, the original sultan of smooth, George Benson.
Yes.
And there's a lot of great guests. I talked to Eric Johnson. There's a lot of guitar players that I really want to interview that either didn't know who I was or were like, yeah, we'll see how season 1 is. I got a lot of my top 5 on this first season, but I got another list of 5 that I'm really going for. So I'm excited about the whole thing. It seems to be going really well. People are digging it.
Sweet. So are these being released like as a weekly thing, or how are you dropping them?
Basically every week. Yeah.
Cool. And this is like a first season of, it's 5 for this first season?
It's going to be 12 for this first season.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Most of them are already done. I think I'm going to record 1 or 2 more. I'm holding out on one of my heroes' publicists is getting back to us on whether they are interested or not.
Yeah. The waiting game. Yeah, well, Benson's a personal favorite of mine. Just like his playing on jazz and
I'll see you
anything.
guys later. You guys are gonna be here for a while.
No, on anything. Like he's the man. Like
no, he's the
there's no debating it. Like what I like about him is, just beyond the guitar playing, he sounds like Benson on anything he plays. If he's playing a jazz thing, if he's playing a smooth jazz thing, if he's playing on the Gorillaz track, you can tell it's Benson from 2-3 notes.
Dude, I know. And that's what has informed so much of my pursuit as an artist, is to have that thing, to find what it is to have that kind of voice. Scofield is a similar thing. I talk about it in the Scofield episode. It's when it's Scofield, and you also know when it's somebody doing the Sco thing. It's that is sick, because there's so many of us from our generation that do the Sco thing once in a while. But I'm doing the Sco thing, but you also know it's not Sco. And I think with Benson, similar thing. He's got such a thing. He's got such a voice. Yeah, that you're right. It fits over so many different contexts too. Whether you would think that it fits over a Gorillaz tune or not, well, let's press play and see. Sure enough, he sounds freaking insane on that track.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I really like his approach to Kevin and I saw Benson a while ago when he came down here to Florida, and he used to come more often actually. And it's awesome seeing him perform, because you get that he does all his hits obviously, but he's also going into his playing and just shredding over all of it in a way that you really feel as an audience. Getting back to what you're talking about, he's really engages with the audience and then showcases his different band members, and he had a drum solo at that point, and just walked to the side of the stage and was just yo, this guy's killing. Check out my young drummer, in the same kind of way that Kaz does, bringing out other younger musicians, and it's just walks off stage. I'm gonna bring Aubrey Logan on here and just check her out, and really elevates those people in that way. So you just get the feeling he's such a great guy, and just he projects that same kind of feeling in his music. is really what I'm getting at.
Well, and I think some of that, and like we're saying, a lot of the references that we're making as far as the entertainment side of things are some of the more old school things. I guess actually one of the performers I didn't bring up was Bruno Mars. His performance, like, they're very intentional with their outfits. They're intentional with their like, whether you like the music or not, I don't care. Take a look at the entertainment factor of it, and it is insane. You take a look at Benson. Benson, his first records were jazz records. He had hit jazz records. He had a hit live record, a live album that was #1. He had a live record that went platinum. That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay. He had hits in the jazz sphere under CTI, produced by Creed Taylor. You know, so classic era, classic sound and look of records, right? Like you know a CTI record when you see it, because it has that certain gloss, it has that certain thing, and like, you know, an ECM record has its more subdued thing that you would recognize from seeing it. CTI had its thing. Benson's a part of that. He worked with Creed Taylor on those records. Then he worked with Quincy.
Yeah.
Like, he was a pop star. So he had to understand the pop star thing also. And working with a cat like Quincy as a producer, and working with those record labels that have certain expectations when you have a hit song like This Masquerade, you gotta understand how to entertain and how to perform in a way where your audience is expecting that. And, you know, see, I think it's maybe 1976. There's a video of him playing Affirmation on some show. It's one of the most insane live performances I've ever seen. I think, look up George Benson Affirmation. I believe the year is 1976, but if you just look up George Benson Affirmation live, it's some video that looks like it's from the 70s. You'll find it, and it's insane.